A breakup, sure as shit, makes us feel like the biggest turd in the world. It deflates our self-esteem and worth and causes us a bunch of negative feelings: anxiety, fear, stress, grief, shame, anger, sadness, pain, you name it. And the more we try to suppress, avoid, forget, or expunge these feelings out of our system, the more pronounced they become. Trying to be less angry only makes us more angry. Attempting to silence our anxiety only bolsters that anxiety. Asserting control over our sadness only ends in more sadness. Trying to escape our loneliness only invites more loneliness. Pumping ourselves up to be happy again only makes us feel less happy with ourselves and our life. This, my friend, is the paradox of willpower, or in the words of the philosopher Alan Watts, the backwards law. Now let's talk about how this backwards law really works. The theory behind it goes that the more we pursue something, the more we achieve the opposite of what we truly want, and the more disappointed and dissatisfied we feel afterward. In other words, the harder we try, the less likely we are to succeed. Now, the way we short-circuit the backwards law and actually come out on top is to simply stop trying. As paradoxical as it sounds, stop wanting things to be different than they are. This works because the desire for more positive experience is itself a negative experience, and it's only through the acceptance of our negative experience that that experience becomes positive. And it's only when our experience becomes positive that we open the doors to achieving our goals and changing our current circumstances. I mean, just think about it. Why is it that the less you care about something, the better you tend to do at it? For one, because you're operating from this much healthier, more optimistic, and less stress-inducing mindset. But mainly, it comes right back to our backwards law, which says that since pursuing a positive is a negative, then pursuing the negative generates the positive. Now, diving into the causes for the demise of your relationship, that's what actually leads you to have this better understanding of what's necessary to succeed in love. Suffering through your breakup pain is what leads you to develop greater psychological resilience and perseverance. Being open and honest about your insecurities and your emotional baggage is what leads you to be perceived as more attractive and magnetic. Letting your ex go forever, after telling them you want them back, is what leads them to be way more keen about giving you another shot. You get the point. Now, a funny trick nature plays on us is that it often deludes us into thinking that if we only obtain some arbitrary external thing, i.e. let's say our ex, or change some arbitrary external circumstance, i.e. go from being hurt to getting closure and feeling at peace, we would suddenly be permanently happy. Turns out, it's the other way around, and the backwards law proves this. It's not obtaining this external thing or those external circumstances that lead us to feel content and happy. It's accepting that we lack this external thing or those external circumstances that lead us to feel ultimately content and happy. For instance, imagine you've set a goal for yourself that you will get over your ex in 30 days, but when that doesn't happen, you feel inadequate. Or imagine you told yourself you would get your ex back at some point, but then, while you're trying to reattract them, they reject you. Obviously, you would feel like a worthless sack of shit afterward. But now imagine working towards hitting these sorts of goals, but not actually identifying with them, expecting yourself to hit them, or tying your worth and basing your happiness around their completion. Instead, you're okay with never reaching them, This is how you would apply the backwards law and, as I said earlier, come out on top. Now, the true beauty of this whole concept is that it transcends mere breakups and spills into literally every facet of your life. The safer we try to make ourselves, the more insecure and afraid we'll get. The more we cling on to our loved one, the more suffocated and turned off they'll become. The more we try to force or con others into loving or respecting us, the less loved and respected we'll be. The more we try to persuade other people into trusting us, the less trustworthy we'll seem. The more desperately we desire to change ourselves, the more inadequate we will feel. The more freedom we try to seize in our lives, the more meaninglessness we will foster in it. The harder we try to find some deeper purpose in our life, the more shallow and self-centered we will become. You get a point by now. This isn't rocket science. The more you try to squash, avoid, or silence the negative, the stronger it becomes. The only way to surmount it is through accepting it. Everything else you do will only blow up in your face and it will fuck you up. Really that simple. Because anything negative, to borrow from this wise modern philosopher, is an inextricable thread in the fabric of our life. And to tear it out is not only impossible, it's also destructive. Because attempting to tear it out unravels everything else with it. If you want to go deeper into my process and my solutions for getting over a breakup, for healing from a breakup, download my recovery cheat sheet, link below this video. And with that being said, I will see you later. So take care and bye bye.